What's going on, everybody? It's Josh, aka the Moza Muscle, coming at you with what soon shall be called something that's not the Next Up podcast because Colin ain't next up so much anymore. Mr. IFBB Pro, Colin Marco, aka Cousin Creamy, say what's up, talk to him.
How we doing? How we doing? Hope all is well.
And then we also have newfound friend Jake Safford in the building, competed with him at Universe, saw some of his pictures before Universe. Um, and the boy's just nutty. Also, these two guys are still peeled, and your boy is very much so not. So, what's going on, brother? Say what's up. Talk to the
What's going
people.
on? How you guys doing?
Everything is good on our side. So, Jake has never been on a podcast before. So, luckily, he's bracing us with his presence. So, let's start this off. Let's start this off the right way. What got you into bodybuilding?
I mean, I've always been pretty athletic, but started taking the gym pretty consistently, like my senior year of high school, but didn't really have any idea about bodybuilding or competing until like 2 years ago. So that was just from people like telling me that I should compete, and then I got like more invested in it, but it
Were
was
you
never
always just like a
like a
big dude?
childhood dream of mine.
Were you always just a big dude?
No, I was actually like a skinny kid all my life. So
Okay. See, I would have thought the other way around, and then you started like construction work, and then just leaned out, and people were like, "Yo, you should bodybuild."
no, I was like super scrawny all my life. Like got made fun of it.
Damn, opposite of us, Colin. We're chubby boys. So, first and foremost, Jake, let's get into this. How was that cookie?
That cookie? Oh, dude, it was fire.
So, Colin
Yeah.
has his cookies at his crib. I got some shipped down to him. Shout out Bree from Chunk, Long Island, because she is the goat. She comes to a ton of shows. And she doesn't really promote that she comes to shows to like give out cookies. You kind of just have to know. But she's awesome. She is my cookie sponsor, technically. Realistically, I just fuck with her OD heavy. So I always just try to plug her up. But oh no, we got some questions from some viewers, some things like that. But realistically, let's just dive into like a little bit more about you, Jake. So what was your first show? How'd you place? We'll talk a little bit about Universe this year, but like kind of run us through your competing history.
So I did
Who
my
your
first.
coaches,
What's that?
who your coaches, stuff like that.
Gotcha. So I did my first show in 2023. It was the Mr. Buffalo. Like I said, I didn't really have any idea about competing, had no idea what I was doing. Jumped in like 12 weeks out and took the overall in novice and the open in my first show. And
Yeah.
then I did about a year off, and then I did junior nats, placed sixth there, and then took another year off until the universe. Actually, no, I did the Western New York Championship, which was actually yesterday. I did that last year as well. Took the overall there, and then did universe, obviously.
And then how do you feel like in terms of all of your shows, what was your best package to date?
Definitely universe for sure.
I was going to say you look pretty nutty at Universe, so that
Yeah.
was definitely a good showing. Colin said, "Damn," because neither one of us have won an overall. So even though Colin's a pro, you're the only one in the chat who has won an overall. So
Um,
congratulations on
two
that. I
overalls.
think you, yeah, I think you also might be the only person that we've ever had on who won an overall.
Probably.
It's like me. Did Matt win one? Matt might have won one.
To
Dino
be,
probably
to
won
be
one.
fair though, the competitions that I did, it wasn't like they weren't big regional shows.
See, you
Whatever.
don't
It's
have
an
to say
overall.
that. You don't have to say that. Just take the W.
I'm just
It's
being
just like,
humble, bro.
yeah, it's just like
Just
the
be
people who
honest.
do Garden State who are like, oh yeah, I got second in my class at Garden State, so I went to Universe. Normally the person who wins Garden State's the overall also wins a pro card a week later at Universe. That's just the history I've seen in the last two. The guy who won Class C at Universe did Garden States the week before, and a year before that placed 16th at Universe. So shout out him. Um, he came 2 spots behind me, which is shocking to say. And then the year before, Louis won Garden States. He won men's physique and he won classic, and he spoke zero English. I was telling him where to go backstage. And then he won Class A at Universe the next year or
Yep.
the next weekend. So great dude. But I think we get into the real question, the one I sent you guys before. So comes from Cade Watkins. I really hope I didn't butcher that name. Cade is younger. It, I didn't read his last name before I looked at it. Don't look at me like that, Colin. So Cade said, bit of a longer one, so it wouldn't fit. But did you ever feel the desire to gain acceptance from your peers in bodybuilding who have done multiple shows when you first competed? Obviously, we should only compete for our own desires to do so, but is this something you've ever felt, especially when you were a first timer? So I'll kick it to Colin first and Jake, and then I'll give my little take on it.
I mean, honestly, I don't really. I guess like the way I'm kind of interpreting the question is just that like I got into bodybuilding just because it was kind of on a whim. It was more so I wanted to see like if I liked it, and my first coach Brady, um, again like I found the guy on TikTok, and then I just kind of bullshit away my way through my first prep. Didn't really know what I was getting myself into, but I didn't really feel like the needs like of acceptance until I guess more so down the line. I got more into the whole bodybuilding scene and like who you learn from, and then you start learning the names. And again, you kind of build your own little corner of like the people who, whether it's in your gym or just on social media, who you can like consistently talk to. I mean, I never really necessarily felt the need of acceptance, but more so you kind of like build up that corner in which that they give you a lot of, you know, I guess a push more so than anything to continue to what you're doing. Again, it's always nice to hear and get your ego stroked, like you look great, you look this, you look that. But it's also good to have like those in your corner who are willing to not give a shit about your feelings and give you really what it's meant to be. Um, I mean, again, I don't really necessarily if I'm answering the question or not, but I believe I never really chased acceptance. I kind of just did it for me and for my own wants and needs. And again, it all started with just on a whim. I was like, fuck it, I want to do a show. Um, and then from that point forward, I kind of was able to build myself, my brand, my whatever I'm trying to do with my life at this moment, in order to achieve what every bodybuilder realistically wants to achieve is, the pro status. So it's just to the point now where it's like, the level of acceptance wasn't necessarily something I desired, but more so the level of people in my corner, I guess you could say, more than anything else, is really what I chase more than anything. Because again, you want to surround yourself with those who are more successful, more knowledgeable, so you can learn and build off of that. But again, it's not something that I did like necessarily chase the desire and need of acceptance from anyone around me, because at the end of the day, it's like you kind of like got yourself, and I'm only gonna have myself at the end of the day, and I don't really need the feeling to be accepted by anyone around me in order to be who I am.
Okay. I think that's a great point. Jake, talk to him.
Yeah, I think Colin hit that one on the head. Like perfect. Very well said. Yeah, I think like I too I didn't really like chase acceptance. I think that just like kind of comes with it as you like do it. And same with like the respect. And I mean, if you try and chase acceptance, I think you got the wrong like goal in mind. It's more about like just bringing your best package that you can, and you know, people will catch on.
I just kind of build off what you said. The whole respect thing is a huge, I think is more of like a, I think it's a bigger subject to kind of take on this kind of point or question, just because again, it's like everyone wants to be accepted by the big guys or the pros in the gym or whoever. And it's just like, if you want to chase those and kind of like be on their coattails and like tugging at their t-shirt, trying to get noticed. And it's like your time will come. It's just a matter of, them willing to respect you and your work ethic. And it all comes down to, again, if you want to compete and it's like you show up on condition, it's like you're not going to get that respect that you want. It's like you have to put in the work, you have to put in your time. And I'm sorry, like at the end of the day, game recognizes game. And if you bring, undeniable conditioning, but again, you're not the same size as these guys, aka you're not going to be the same size as these fucking like seasoned pros. It's just not going to be a thing. But if you come in peeled inside and out and you're doing the work every single day, like that's going to get recognized, whether you talk to them or not. Well, at some point or another, they're going to come up to you. They're going to ask you about different things. It's like, don't chase it because then you just become a fucking pest. And then they just hate you for like being a pest and just wanting and just craving that attention. It's like, it'll come, but you just got to let that shit unfold, because if you're just consistently like, hey, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? They're going to be like, dude, shut the fuck up. Go away. Like, I don't want to
Like
talk
a
to
pick
you.
me.
Yeah, pick me. My view is very different. Colin knows a little bit about this. Jake does not. I am. I came from college football. During college football, I hit a process of depression, um, and then became an alcoholic. Got down a really dark path, and pretty much had one of two options: or walk to work every day because I was spending all my money on booze, or figure it the fuck out. And I kind of just went from one obsession or one addiction to another in training. And then around some point, 2019, 2020, I went to a gym out here on Long Island, and I was training, and there was some dude with dark skinned dude, blonde hair, who came up to me. He was like, "Hey, you ever thought about competing?" And I was like, "Not really. Don't want to step on stage in a Speedo." A couple months later, he placed fourth at the Arnold in classic physique. His name is Steve Laraeus. So kind of just worked out that like I didn't really know much about it. And just became obsessed with it when it came down to like going to my first show. I guess I am a cocky prick, Colin, because I
A little
thought I was
bit.
going to win that one too. Um, I just showed up and I was like, all right, I'm walking through this. Like, this is going to be easy. I don't get stage fright. So, like, personally, I turn around and I'm just going to go and do what I got to do. You practice long enough, it becomes second nature. And I wasn't looking for respect out of the older guys. I wasn't looking for acceptance out of the older guys. I was looking to show up and win the fucking show. I didn't care about anything else. So my headspace was a little bit different. I walked off that stage. I did not win. Um, I came in second, got a qualification to Universe, walked into Universe, and my headspace was completely different, kind of like it was this year, where I was just like, hey, I'm going to have fun with this. I wasn't looking for acceptance, respect from anybody. I was just like, hey, I'm going to have fun, and I'm going to meet and make as many friends as I can backstage, because these are the people who get it. Like, when you're back at home, you're in your hometown, whatever, unless your friends also go to the gym, they don't get it. And if they've never been skinned out, they definitely don't get it. They've never had to do a 2 hours of cardio day. They've never had to have a no carb day just because they didn't, they didn't want to. They don't get it. So I look at the opportunity of competing not as a respect thing, but as a way to forge relationships, meet new people, turn around and have a conversation, be like, hey, I know, like, perfect example is Jake and I. Jake and I met in the elevator. I knew who he was. He had no idea who I was because I look up competitors. Um, and I was just sitting there and I was like, no matter what, I respect this kid because his glutes are striated to high heaven. And that doesn't happen from not working hard.
Yeah.
So I think, like you guys are saying, the work creates the respect at the end of the day, because like it genuinely didn't matter. He could have blew me off, and at the end of the day, I would have been like, bro, you look great out there. Your glutes were striated to high heaven. I know you worked hard for this. Um, but just so happened I was cracking jokes to Dave, and that kind of kept me around for the backstage to where Jake had to accept me sooner or later. But realistically, I just don't think that like you go into this for respect or admiration. You go into this because like you have unnatural desire, emphasis on unnatural, desire to just show up for yourself. And like again, if you step on stage and you're not conditioned, you didn't show up for yourself, you kind of deserve to get like attacked, disrespected, in that way by the judge's feedback, telling you that you need to get tighter, you need to be leaner. And you got to take that one on the chin because guess what? That's the only thing you can control on that day is how tight you were, how lean you were, because how hard you worked leading all the way up to it. So, with that said, and it kind of rolls in perfect. Tommy Theocartis, I really hope I didn't butcher his name, but he's competing in 11 weeks, so he probably won't remember if I did butcher his name. Which bodybuilders did you look up to most coming into the sport, if you had one?
It was just Bumstead. Like I'm the usual fanboy, classic physique, fucking. It's just he was like the well. I honestly Christian Guzman was like my guy for the longest time. Then it went like Christian Guzman, Bumstead, but those are like the two. I wasn't like, oh yeah, I fucking watched Jay Cutler and Ronnie Cole. And no, I didn't fucking know who they really were until I got into bodybuilding. But it was just like Christian Guzman got me into fitness, Bumstead got me into bodybuilding, and then everything kind of just unraveled from there.
Who's your current favorite bodybuilder, and who's your all-time favorite bodybuilder? Then I'll add to that question.
So Jack doesn't, hate me. Jack Eagles, fucking killer
All right,
kid.
that doesn't count. Skip Jack.
No, right now, honestly, I would probably say favorite is Keon. Um, Huge fan, love the look, love his mindset, and also I feel like it's like if I met him, he'd just be easy to talk to. A lot of these people, whether I've met them or seen them in person, they just seem like a bunch of cocky assholes, and it's like, don't get me wrong, like there's a lot of good people. Like I met Hollingshead, I met Sauce, I met who the fuck else I meet?
Seth.
Fuad. It was all the Detroit Pro and
Yeah,
Nick
Seth
Choppers,
Feroci.
Seth Rose. Yeah, like all these guys, like so cool, super down to earth guys. But again, you have like your handful who just, on social media, you just know it's a fucking front, and then behind the scenes are just pieces of shit. But it is what it is. Everyone's a little bit of an asshole in their own way. And the favorite all time, I don't fucking know. I don't really necessarily have like a favorite all time. I mean, realistically, it's like I love Keon. Keon's probably my number one right now. And I mean, that might be just due to the fact that I kind of possibly, probably, definitely have a future in 212 because Classic is just not going to be the thing for me. So, fucking can't wait to wear my fucking CPAP.
I was gonna say, take your cards where they fall. Jake
Fuck.
and I are built for classic.
Yeah, below me.
It's
I
all
mean,
good.
I'd say the bodybuilder I looked up to the most would probably be C-Bum as well, just because that's classic. It doesn't get more classic than that. But yeah, my all-time favorite is probably I like Terrence. Like I think his posing and his physique is just for classic is very well rounded. It's perfect.
I love how you both picked pretty much classic guys. I count Keon as like former classic, so
These guys
because
gonna
that's
say
probably where
Sean Ray.
Yeah, he has definitely got the most like perfectly proportioned, like great posing. Like yeah.
mine's easy. My subsequently alleged father, Kevin Levrone.
Oh, word.
Kevin Levrone is my favorite of all time. It's just easy. His shape, his structure. I didn't care if he ever came in condition. I don't care if he never came in condition. Kevin Levrone was just special. The fact that he could take off 6 months of the year and then come back and still be number two at the fucking Mr. O is just he's special. I did like Sean Ray, but like Sean Ray's persona now has deterred me. Um, Chris Cormier, just from the hard work perspective of just brutal muscle. But like, you got to remember that I wasn't exactly brought into bodybuilding kind of typically. At like 12 years old, Sue started taking me to the gym. Sue trained at Bev's back in the 90s. So, like, she's cool with Dave Palumbo. Um, Whenever she sees Jay Cutler, like, he remembers her. So it's like I have a little bit of a different kind of I guess, background in the bodybuilding, even though I came into it my own way. That was like the way I was shown Jay, I was shown Ronnie, I was shown Kevin. Um, I've met a lot of the newer guys. I've met C-Bum, I've met Keon, I've met Terrence. Terrence is really cool. C-Bum is very popular. Um, and then Keon is also just a dope dude. So like the newer guys are all really cool. I'm a big fan of Matt Grego as a current bodybuilder, and that's simply because at Universe last year, my dog Delilah was very sick. Grego took the time to sit there and pray with me, which was really cool. Um, I don't think a lot of guys would have done that. So Grego has to be my favorite current classic physique. Just simply because like I don't know if anybody else would have done something like that. But again, minus Kevin, it's pretty standard, pretty easy. So now, next question. Um, and this one ties into it, and it's funny because Tommy's friend. What are ways to grow the sport? How can it get more attention? To be honest with you, I think that's over our pay grade. I don't think there's much that us three in here, can do to grow the sport per se, or sport. Um, make it
Fuck,
a
fuck that.
make it more popular.
I think it's
Other
growing
than
pretty
like,
well on its own.
what'd you say?
So I think it's growing pretty well on its own right now.
Yeah, I think like realistically to grow the sport, you need CBUM. You need like these bigger name dudes who Nick Walkers, stuff like that, who are going to turn around and like they not only have a following to begin with, but like they're so down to earth, they're so transparent, they're such cool people that like people gravitate towards them. And as a byproduct, they want to watch them bodybuild because that's what they do. So I think it's realistically, I guess that is our answer is in order to grow the sport, we all need to just authentically be ourselves because sooner or later, someone you're gonna find someone else who likes you, um, or you're gonna find a fan, somebody who follows you and is just appreciative of you sharing your journey, and it will eventually grow this hobby, this very expensive hobby. Um, Jake, you probably haven't heard this. I don't call bodybuilding a sport. It's not a sport because every other sport you practice the sport to then perform the sport. Bodybuilding, you train, you do cardio, you eat, you rest to then stand up on stage in a speedo.
I'd say it's more of a lifestyle than a sport. I wouldn't call it a sport either.
All right, cool. So I'm not the only one. Good. Colin, what's your take on it? Not the sport or non-sport of bodybuilding being that you're a pro, um, but ways to grow the sport.
I mean, honestly, it's just bodybuilding in itself is grown substantially in the last coming years, but that's just due to social media. Obviously, back in the day, it was always, you wanted to be on the cover of a magazine, you want to be sponsored by like insert any old ass company that was huge 20 years ago. But realistically, it's just the thing is, people have made it something where growing the sport is something that is going to be now social media driven. So it's the idea that a lifestyle change, and again, like this even comes in part of my life, is that a lifestyle change turned into me going to bodybuilding, competing in bodybuilding. So I just feel as if you can find that little niche group that works the best for you, then it's like as long as it's positive influences, and at that point you can grow into what you want to do. Because again, anybody can go from being a lifestyle person, or in the terms of like a coach, like a lifestyle client to a competitive client, just by simple mindset shifts. But also, again, you see stuff on social media that looks great. I want to do it. I want to try it. So, again, I feel like the more positive influences that you have around and not people just kind of necessarily shitting on one each other. Because, again, the amount of fucking hate that I got on my fucking pro card win is diabolical, which I was expecting. And to be completely honest, everyone who commented looks like they were built out of fucking Legos, and just they're fucking they look like shit. I'm just gonna come out and say it. Regardless, it's just
What was
like,
the one comment you got? I'm sorry.
uh,
Was this a disabled division?
oh yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm half retarded. My apologies. Um, yeah, it was just like shit like that where I'm just like, damn, like that's crazy, but you know, I'm a pro, so you can go fuck yourself. But and again, it's not something where, I have to say everyone has to be all fucking friends and shit. Everyone's gonna like who they like and hate who they hate. But at the same time, it's the unnecessary bullshit that's kind of like somebody puts up a physique and they just get shit on for nothing. And it's like, dude, the guy's putting in the work, he's putting on the time. Like, you have no reason not to like him. And I'm sorry, if anything, just keep scrolling. So it's just, I feel as if the social media can have such a positive and also negative influence just due to the fact that, again, there's so many people that are willing to hate and hate and hate, and that's fine. But at the same time, it's like you're doing nothing but diminishing, their own self confidence. You're diminishing the possibility of what could be, of what somebody could grow into. So I just feel that social media is something that obviously is driving the growth of the sport, just due to sportsmanship, due to sponsorships, due to just again the knowledge that people withhold within themselves that they're willing to put out to the public. And again, it's something where no matter what, at the end of the day, for now into this foreseeable future, social media has an absolute stranglehold on the growth of said sport, because again, Instagram and TikTok and all this shit can just disappear tomorrow. Sorry, half the competition scene, it's going to leave. They're going to stop doing it because I'm sorry, most of these people compete for gratification of comments on social media. And I'm sorry, if you're doing it for that, or you're doing it for the reason of, I just want to get a pro card, I just want a pro card, you're not going to fucking last. And I'm not going to sit here and say I'm some nitty gritty bodybuilder, but at the same time, yes, I have a pro card. That doesn't mean dick until I step on a pro stage. Most of these people get a pro card and then hang it up. Oh, I'm retired. I'm done. I achieved what I wanted to achieve. If you're chasing just the sake of a pro card, you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Jake, you got one?
No, I totally agree with that. That's perfect.
Boom.
Yeah,
Next
I was
question.
gonna say he really took that one and it's like,
Yeah.
damn. All right. And then the last question that we got, and I think this is actually perfect to sum it up because we're all probably gonna have varying opinions on this one, was do you take deloads? If so, how often? Um, Colin, I'll let you hit that one first. I'll go last because we know kind of how I do it.
Yeah. I take deloads when I don't take deloads when my coach tells me to take deloads. Jack never tells me to take a deload. Obviously, we have like biofeedback every single week, how I'm feeling, etc. But if my recovery shit, if I'm sleeping like shit, if I just have a lot of nagging little injuries, it's kind of something where that's when I'll take a deload. Whether it's a complete week off, um, whether it's a complete week off, or I will just back off a training volume. It's just something honestly where it's like I know I can't push, and I would just be doing myself a disservice to continue to go in there and try and bury myself when all I'm going to do is get frustrated because I'm not as strong and I'm not as, really, it's like not as strong, can't recover. It just gets to the point where it's like, that's not enjoyable. There's no enjoyment to training. It's just all pain at that point, and it ain't the good pain. That's a lot of my cues where it's just like I'm super run down, and it's like whether it's from life in general. Because I'm sorry, like there's times you got to stop and take a deload from lifting when work just kind of kicks you in the fucking teeth. Because if you're just mentally fucked and physically, it's just taking a huge toll on you. I mean, at that point, you're going to do yourself nothing. There's no positives that are going to come out of it. It's going to be complete negatives. And again, most of these people will say, "Oh, but my gym's the escape, this, that, the other." Yeah, but you can hit it twice as hard the next week, be able to recover and progress for another 10, 15 to 20 weeks by taking off 1 week. But if you continue to push yourself, you can get injured. Um, you could just fall out of love with it. You could just, whatever the case may be, it's like 1 week off the gym could save you for the rest of the year, where 1 week of pushing through because you're such a fucking hard bodybuilder, 1 week could fucking ruin all progress that you've made in the last 4 months. Because let's say you go in and you fucking blow out a pec, you blow out a quad, you fucking tear your bicep off the bone. It's like, well, now you are on the sidelines because you wanted to be a dick about it. So it honestly, whenever coaches say like, "Oh, you need to take a deload," it's like, but why? Like, give me a reason why. What have I told you in order for you to institute said deload. So I always say like it's all person to person because I deloaded after the show, but like besides that, I haven't taken a deload in fucking a year and a half. So it's like I never felt it was necessary. So it's just again, person to person. If your sleep shit, your recovery shit, if your life is shit at the moment, take some time off. It'll do you a lot better than good. It'll do you a lot better than worse.
Jake, what about you, bro?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really take deloads very often. And David's only had me do a full week off before I started prep, but and I was also on vacation too at that time, so it kind of worked out. But yeah, the only time I really take time off is if, like Colin said, work kicked my ass and like it just there's a you gotta be smart about it. You gotta know your body and like there's no point to push if like Colin said you're gonna hurt yourself or you're just gonna overtrain. Like there's no it gets to a point where there is no positives to go to the gym if you're truly that like exhausted or burnt out. But personally, I don't really take days off unless I need one. And my coach doesn't tell me to either. So
I first and foremost like, comment, share, subscribe, tag a friend, all that fun stuff because we always forget that, and we got 3 minutes left. I I used to get told to take deloads by my former coach. We would do it based off biofeedback. Newer coach, aka Dino, does not like deloads. Doesn't tell me when to take deloads. I personally don't have the work is kicking my ass. I work in a gym. I own my gym. So I show up no matter what. And if it's a training day, it's a training day. When I take a deload is because I've actually pushed myself into being sick. I wake up and I have a fever and or I just feel like absolutely got hit by a bus. As Colin knows already, if I feel good, I'm going to send it. So 2 days post show, I felt pretty good. I was up about 30 pounds. So I was like, hey, let's rip it, and buried myself on a hack squat. Jake, you also saw that video. So it's like, I don't really have the off switch that is probably required for this. But realistically, like you guys both said, you got to know your body. You got to know if you're tired or not. There are things that are stupid decisions. 1 rep maxing a hack squat that you thought you were going to get like 10 on is definitely a very bad decision. But can't say it wasn't fun. Can't say I didn't enjoy it. Can't say that I didn't get a better session out of the last leg day because of the one prior. So deloading is all well and good, but realistically, if you don't have that bio awareness, the ability to turn around and say, "Hey, I'm beat up. Like I need a day," it's going to turn into a week. So your deload should almost be preempted in the fact of like, yo, if I go into this session, I kill myself, I'm going to be now fucked for the next 4 sessions, as opposed to I can get away with just burying myself this one time and or I could take 1 day off and be able to bury myself the entire next week and still be good to go. So take them as you need them. But the thing is, you cannot train like a bundeja if you're going to do that. So you have to go hard. Stu is in the room. So we curbed ourselves a little bit. But yeah, you have to go hard. You have to give it everything you got to even earn the deload, to even earn your post-workout meal. I give cereal at the end of the post-workout meal for my clients simply because if they don't earn it, they shouldn't have it. So with that said, with that little rant at the end, this has been Next Up Podcast. Jake, thanks for coming on. Colin,
Appreciate
Mr.
it, Jake.
IFBB Pro, sign us out.
Well, it's been real, Jake. I appreciate you coming on. It's nice to meet you, sir. I wish you nothing but the best in your next competitions that you have in your life. You're probably not doing fucking USAs or anything because you're peeled and gutted to the motherfuck.
it's more of
But
a finance issue than anything, but
fair enough. Well, nonetheless, best of luck with everything. I look forward to watching you progress through this next year and